What's up, everyone? My name is Ninad and I am a legal intern at LEXIS and Company. I am also a student of Maharashtra National Law University, Mumbai. Today, we'll be talking about how to draft a good police complaint. This will be an overview of how to make or draft a good police complaint and what all steps you need to follow or what all things you have to be including in your police complaint to make it, um, let's say, immune to any sort of loopholes or any sort of problems in the future of the proceedings. So let's get started. First of all, if a client approaches you as a lawyer and you are supposed to be drafting a police complaint on their behalf, and they ask you to do it in your name, then you have to, as a lawyer, make sure that the official complaint that you file goes in the name of your letterhead. Um, Depending on the jurisdiction, there are a lot of different police officials that you can be assigning or addressing your letters to, or the letter of complaint to. So, be it the SHO or the DSP or the superintendent of police or any other police officer that you are addressing letter to, their name and designation should be mentioned in the um, column where you are putting the address, name and address of the one you are addressing the letter to. Next comes the subject portion of the complaint letter. Uh, it has to include, in all its entirety, a brief detail of the situation at hand and as well as the kind of offenses that have been committed. And an important point to note within that is that you need to consistently use the legal terminologies so that there is no ambiguity in understanding what the complaint is all about. Further, it is also important that you include the relevant sections related to the offenses that you are mentioning in your complaint. Furthermore, when you are dealing with the accused, that is who the complainant wishes to file a complaint against, if there are more than one accused, you just have to include the names of all the other accused as well. At first, you can just focus on the main accused as per the information supplied to you by your complainant, but in case of any loopholes that can be found by the opposing party, they can just simply say that the name of the accused are not mentioned. So to counter that, you can already include the names of the and details of, obviously, if can be found, of all the accused that can be present, that can be accommodated or included in the commission of any or all of the offenses that the complainant alleges the accused of committing. Another important factor is to uphold the goodwill of your own complainant in comparison to the accused. Now, this might seem like a shady tactic, but it's what comes in handy when you have to uphold the character of your own client in court. Um, Supposing if a judge asks what makes one so sure of the complainant not having been doing any wrong in comparison to the accused. Like the complainant is completely blaming everything on the accused. What proof there is to ensure that the complainant has done nothing wrong themselves? So, a show of good character and a mention of it in the complaint can come in handy to, procure witnesses as well as to determine for sure, or to a certain degree or to a certain probability or a preponderance of probability that the complainant himself or themselves has a good character and there is goodwill in the name of the complainant and that the accused does not possess the same amount of goodwill. Uh, Although it is not extremely necessary, the complaint needs to have a significant amount of detail regarding the facts of the case as supplied to you, of course, by your complainant or your client. But you also have to include it in such a format that it is easy to understand as well as easy to interpret, both for the judge and the police officer, as to leave out any form of ambiguities that might be included either by the police officer or by the judge themselves. So, in short, you have to keep it simple. You have to discard all sorts of legal jargon that you might be using in your uh, other research papers or essays or something like that, and just go on with simple language that can be understood easily by anyone and everyone who might be reading it. Now, the most important and the core factor of any complaint is its cause or causes of action. Now, cause of action is any circumstance or any situation that has resulted in one being induced or resulting in one form filing a complaint against another. Now, this sort of cause of action can be of any form, and any circumstance can give rise to such cause of or causes of action. Now, it is important to mention these causes of action along with the story progression. Now, as your facts and the story of the complainant progresses, you have to show or you have to inculcate the intricacies of all these causes of action throughout your story. You just cannot list it out in a mechanical way. You have to make it understanding. You have to formulate in a way that it can easily be understood and it comes out in a smooth and natural flow. That is the most important thing that you can be doing when filing or writing or drafting a complaint of any sort. Also, it is important to again show the goodwill and the responsible attitude of both your client and you yourself, advising them or them having taken all sorts of reasonable measures like resolving the dispute outside of court, going to the police station to file an FIR, etc., as the situation might demand or as the situation might be, so that you can convince the judge that all necessary measures that could have been taken to prevent coming to the court have been taken, and the failure of these has resulted in um, the client approaching the lawyer, that might be you or someone else, um, and ultimately coming before the court. So that is an important factor to introduce to the judge so that you can increase the credibility that you can have while uh, appearing before the judge on behalf of your client. Last but not the least, it is also important to include a slight sort of summary of all the accusations that you are going to be making throughout the complaint, and it is always useful to include all the relevant sections and, well, I would also say definitions of or small definitions or small explanations of all the sections, so that there can be no misuse or um, apparently innocent misinterpretations of um, the statutes or their use or their interpretation made by you that is further to be made by, let's say, the police officer or the judge themselves. So to leave out any ambiguities that might arise from the same, it is important that you include a proper summary and also the relevant sections in the relevant places while you are writing your story. It is also wise, I would say, to request the police station in your complaint itself to provide, like, to file a proper FIR, and to also investigate the situation or the case properly, as well as provide you with a proper status report or an ATR, which is known as the action taken report, as a proper update, which is obviously helpful to you to decide what path you should be taking further in your case and to get your client the justice they deserve. That is all for the video, guys. If you like the video, please give us thumbs up, share, subscribe, comment down below any queries or suggestions that you might have. We will get back to you as soon as possible. um, Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a good one.